pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Commissioner, if you want to read the correspondence?
Okay. March 10th, 2025, summary of letters received from a resident, reference Officer Sergeant Cushman and Officer Gray. The resident wanted to extend their appreciation to Sergeant Cushman and Officer Gray for the care and professionalism while responding to a medical call for their child. They were impressed with how great everyone is in helping him and really coming through when they need him. Quote, "Thanks for all you do for our community," close quote. End of letters.
Awesome. Moving on to the next line item, approval of minutes for February 10th, 2025.
I move to approve the Police Commission regular meeting minutes for February 10th, 2025.
Second.
All right, all approved? Aye. Okay. Up next, the chairperson's report. I am going to defer to Commissioner Caulfield so she can talk about what happened at the budget meeting.
I went to the budget meetings. There were two. The first one, they did not have any big changes to our budget. At the second meeting, they cut $5,000 from our overtime budget. The chief and town manager were supportive with an asterisk, a caveat for that cut, acknowledging that if there is a need for a response, we will send people out regardless, and then come back to the Board of Selectmen to seek an appropriation if our overtime budget is depleted. So it will be going before the Board of Finance tomorrow, I believe, and then the Board of Finance will make its report and decisions and then submit it to the town for approval and a vote.
Does anyone have any questions about that?
Nicely done, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, and only 5,000, so,
Yes.
That's not bad.
no, that's not bad. Yeah.
And it's much more in line with where we have been as well.
Mhm.
So hopefully we'll come in under, but I gave them some examples of where things are most oftentimes beyond our control and where our overtime costs come from. So I think it was very reasonable.
I heard good things about your report, so that was good.
My report?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Just was-
I do want to note, just kudos to the chief and the department. We are one of the few that do zero budgeting, which means every year, which you all know, we start with nothing and just budget what we actually need. And so that was a big move and push by the town manager's office to get all departments, so we're kind of ahead of the curve on that. And also, as a piece of interesting information, if you did not know, the cost of bullets has gone up. So that was
No, Chief.
that was a piece of trivia that the Board of Selectmen is now aware of.
Are they ready available this time? Because at first it was like a shortage, so,
Yes,
They're more available now than they were 2 years ago.
okay.
they're just pricey. No, that's all I got.
Alrighty, and that's it for us on our side. Go to you now, Chief.
Thank you. So right along those lines, I'd like to thank Commissioner Caulfield and the entire commission for support during the process. It's worked every year for us. We've got lots of eyes and lots of perspectives and opinions on this. Attendance at those meetings, I think, is extremely valuable for us. So thank you, and thank you for sending somebody each year. We always have somebody there representing the commission. Moving on to an update on personnel. Officer Nick Laganigro completed the field training and evaluation program on February 26th, and he's been assigned to the patrol division. He's now working the midnight shift. Officer Mario Majorano is expected to complete the same training within the next week or so, so he should be going out to the patrol division very soon. Those two additions will help with the staffing issues that we've been experiencing. We still currently have 5 officers who are on extended leave. with the hope of one returning to work full-time toward the end of April. Officer Jack Butler started today. He was the officer that this commission had approved last month. As you recall, he's a lateral transfer from the Hartford Police Department, and we expect him to complete his initial training around July. For projects, I would like to introduce to you retired Assistant Police Chief Eric Kearns. Chief Kearns retired from the Burlington, North Carolina Police Department and is here this week with us as an assessor for CLEAR for our 4-year review. And Assistant Chief Kearns is right here. We thank him for being here. And Chief Davis can just talk real briefly about the purpose of his visit here and what he's doing over the next 3 to 4 days here.
So the CLIA accreditation process has changed over the years. In the past, they would send somebody, 2 people would come as an assessor. They would come and review files once they got here and do some interviews, and then also, inspect the facility and everything that we do here. Over the years, that's changed. So now they remotely review our files every year. They'll do 25%, and then in the 4th year, they'll send an assessor here to basically just being that the files have all been reviewed at this point. He'll come when he comes. He does interviews, does the inspections of the facilities, and make sure that everything that we do is in line with our policy. So it's like a hands-on and review of everything that we do. So we're happy to have him here, and so he'll be with us here until Thursday, and get one day done.
We appreciate him bringing his knowledge and his perspective here. And just as an idea, today he was able to get a ride along with one of our younger officers. He met with some people from the community. He met with one of our police commissioners and had a chance to get a tour of the police department, engaged with a lot of our personnel, and then the next 2 days are filled with very similar, except very much task-oriented days.
And you brought in this weather, thank you very much.
Just a very quick update on our records room renovation. So again, as you recall, in this year's budget, we have sort of 2 projects going that are related to records. One is a physical renovation of the records room that's used on a daily basis, as well as a storage area. And we have now finished the electrical work in the existing records area. And we are just about ready to agree to the storage units for the storage room. And then we're also looking at the other aspect of this is the digitization of all of our records. And so they've come up with some hardware, some equipment to use, and we're just waiting on a good quote back from our IT division on that. We've consulted them on this. Let's see. The Citizens Police Academy started last week, and that will continue every Wednesday for the next 9 weeks. And that's all I have to report.
How many people signed up for the Citizens Academy?
I think it's 12 or 13.
We can go over the different consolidated reports. Did everyone have a chance to look at it?
I did. I have a question. I have a couple questions. I noticed an increase with the DUIs. Is that from a specific location that we're finding more people or leaving a restaurant or something like that? Is it just happenstance around the town?
No, it's happenstance. I just used maybe this weekend as a good example. So on a normal weekend, we may not have anybody in our holding facility. We may have made an arrest, but they wouldn't be held. This particular weekend, we had 5 people who were held in our holding facility. So sometimes things just happen, and that none of those were related to each other and why they were there. That number of 5 in that month is probably much more in line with where it has been in the long history, and maybe even lower than where it's been many, many years ago. So not expected to have that sort of variation in it.
Even though St. Patrick's Day is next weekend.
It is.
Whatever that has to do with it.
Is the holding cell big enough for 5 people?
So we have individual ones, we have 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we didn't have 5 all at once, we actually had 3 at one particular time, and then 1 or 2 bonded out, and then 2 more came to visit.
We didn't get invited.
Sorry.
Did you have anything else?
I do have one more question. I noticed in January, we had a rape, and then in the preliminary report, we had a sexual assault. That was atypical for us to have 2 back-to-back in months. Is there someone going around town doing awful, like,
No,
okay.
no.
So that's actually the same, I believe it's the same incident. Just
Okay.
in one it's just referred to as a sex assault.
It shouldn't be because of the month.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just concerned that it was 2 months back-to-back, and
Yeah.
if there was somebody of note in town that people should be aware of.
No, that is not the case.
Okay. All right. That concludes my questions.
So then, would we need to have it reflected so that it's correct then?
It is correct, so this,
Okay.
yeah, so this is for January, the consolidated monthly is for January, and then the other one, the incident statistics report is February. So there was one reported in January, one reported in February.
Okay, so there were 2 different.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
Just want to make sure I understood.
Yep.
Okay. Any of the other commissioners had any questions about any of them? Okay, so now we're gonna go on, we did go over the, review the budget letter. Maybe we need to add that.
Put it down there. So
Yeah.
I remember it.
If we could, have the year-to-date budget report reflected on the, so that we don't skip
On
over.
the agenda.
Yeah, on the agenda.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. I know when I looked at it, everything almost looked on par, it was been in line with what we should be in terms of the percentage of what was spent, with the exception of a couple items that we discussed all the time, so. I don't know, did anyone have any other questions about any of the budgets that were presented to us? For the chief?
Our overtime is a little bit higher, but not astronomical.
No, it is kind of where it has been expected. The one that was not necessarily where it's expected is the dispatcher overtime. So we had the one dispatcher leave last fall, so we've had to fill the spots. So we are over where we expected to be in that one.
Okay, I had nothing.
All right. So we'll be moving on over to the review of General Order 41-7. Did everyone have a chance to review it?
I can provide just a brief overview if you'd like.
Yeah. Question about before you do, is this it as a result of what happened to the young man that was in the back of the
I
van?
believe so,
Okay.
yes. So the state came out with a model policy that everybody being transported in vehicles would be wearing seatbelts. It's been our policy, it's been the town policy that occupants wear seatbelts. They had some specifics in here because of situations that have happened, that one in particular. So instead of us just going with our 1 or 2 liner that is in one of our procedures or policies, we decided to basically adopt the state policy, like we have done for many other things. And then, just like our other ones, we've added some things that are specific to us, so we've added on to that. And those are here in the italics and underlined. Otherwise, it is verbatim with the state policy. We just thought that it was important to kind of expand on some of these ideas that although the state allows police officers to remove their seatbelts if they're driving under emergency conditions. It just doesn't seem to me that's what we want people to do. That's when they're likely to get involved in, in a crash and could be hurt more. And I think just in talking with my colleagues over this, the idea of that was when we really chased a lot of people and you wanted to quickly get out of the car. And things have shifted quite differently, and one of the most important things is for our officers to remain as safe as can be. So, we really wanted to address that in here and make sure that that was clear, in addition to anybody who's driving in the car or riding in the car, because the state policy does talk about a person being transported and did not really talk much about the occupant, the driver. So we just kind of added some things in there in case there were questions, like ride-alongs and children. So, like I said, it basically mirrors the state policy, and we've added some specific things for us. I think that makes it safer for our members and the public.
Do we need to have any discussion on this policy, or is everybody okay with it?
I'm okay with it. I know I often say that whoever wrote this must have been paid by the word, because they're very verbose, and I feel like we could say it much more succinctly. However, we will defer to this. I will defer to the state and say okay, but.
That's very gracious of you.
So no, I don't have any personally.
Okay,
Also,
Fine.
okay, so we need to move it. Thank you, go ahead.
I move to adopt General Order 41-7, seat safety belt use required.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, ayes have it. Is there any old business that we need to discuss? Okay.
Just a recommendation or some consideration on the next scheduled meeting,
Okay.
April 14th. That's during, you got it, spring break. So I don't know if we would like to reconsider a time frame. I can tell you that we are very hopeful in bringing one, if not two, candidates before you for some positions. So, whether that is a little bit later in the month, that may work out better for us, but whatever the commission would like to do.
I'm okay with moving it to be more in sync with the person we want to bring on. How you guys feel about that?
Are you thinking the following Monday, the 21st?
You're traveling again.
You are? Where are you going? I'm not. I will be home by the 21st. I can do the 21st. Or the
Right, I can do the 21st.
But not the 14th.
I will not be here.
You're not gonna hear it on the 21st? How about the 28th?
Nope. I come back. You're gonna have to do it without me. I don't come back until May 3rd.
What?
Lucky you.
Sir! Oh, all right, well.
If you retire, you can do that.
Aye. Commissioner Long, are any of those days better or worse for you?
14th is better.
Okay.
That'll be fine.
Okay.
We won't have a quorum then.
So we won't have a quorum.
So, the 21st, how are we looking at the 21st?
I mean, I can do other days in the week work for you?
You should that week.
So,
Can't do another 15th, that's tax day.
Exactly. It's a bad day to
Day of
start.
mourning.
well, do you want to tentatively plan for the 21st?
Sure.
And then if you can make it, great. And if not, we have a quorum with the three of us. So for you.
Yep,
I'm
good for me.
moving on my calendar.
Would that work for you, Chief?
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just like, we'll move it, we won't ask you guys. Oops.
I'd like to move to adjourn.
I second that motion.
All right.
Aye.
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 For over 40 years, SCM
has been the voice of our town,
bringing us together through local programming,
education,
and live broadcasts.
SCM isn't just about television.
It's about empowering our community,
ensuring our voices are heard during government meetings,
and celebrating milestones
like our high school graduations.
But today, SCM faces a challenge.
Our funding structure is based on television subscriptions.
And it's no secret, people have been cutting the cord.
With a shift to internet-only subscriptions,
SCM receives less revenue,
even though all our programming is freely available online.
We need your support.
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 Your donation can make a difference.
It will ensure that SCM remains open,
continues to educate our youth,
and keeps our community informed.
Thanks to SCM, I've been honing my creative skills, helping me work towards my college degree.
SCM is crucial for keeping our community connected.
SCM isn't just here to broadcast local events. They're actually preserving Simsbury's history.
Join us.
Join us in preserving Simsbury's voice.
Simsbury's voice.
Together we can ensure that SCM continues to thrive
for generations to come.
Visit our website
or scan the QR code on your screen to make your donation.
Every contribution
counts.
Thank you for supporting Simsbury Community Media,
where your town,
your schools,
and your government
come together.